Is the era of super expensive high-end luxury over, and have niche brands come in to take their place? Today we're going to talk about some products that I've been using lately that I absolutely love, some new items that I have been sent that are absolutely fabulous, that do not have a designer name attached to them, and how they may replace some of the more expensive items that you had in your collection. Hey everybody, today I wanted to talk about a whole bunch of products that I have been using lately that I think are excellent. They are all accessible luxury products. These aren't inexpensive. And I actually have one or two products that are at the high end of luxury. To incorporate all these different things together, I think is how most of us are buying makeup, ready to wear, jewelry, perfume, all of those things. I don't think there's many people out there who are just buying Chanel or just buying, say, a mid to higher end luxury product. I think we're looking at an era where people are wearing their Gap shirt with their Dries Van Noten skirt, right? So you can mix up different things and come up with a style that works well for you. I'm gonna focus on beauty today, but I'm gonna weave in a little bit relating to perfume and to ready to wear and a bag that I was sent, because I think this really highlights my point in that it's no longer a space where you are either Chanel or you are Gap. You are, whatever you feel like you want to be for that day. And I do think we're seeing many buyers decide that the $7,000 price tag that's attached to, let's say, a new Chanel bag that I really, really want and I think is absolutely gorgeous and will be in stores on the 17th of March is a lot. It's a lot of money. Now, Chanel's always been expensive. Dior's always been expensive. These types of brands have always been on the higher end of luxury. But lately, I think buyers, including myself, have started to say, that was fine when I felt like the Chanel bag or the Chanel lipstick was so much better than another brand. Now, there are a lot of what we might call niche brands or accessible luxury brands that will give you the same look or maybe even better quality. So let me talk about what's on my face today, and then we'll weave in the bag and the perfume. So what I have on my face, first of all, is the Clinique Moisture Surge Moisturizer. This has been around for a very long time. This is not a new product by any means, but for people who have very dry skin, actually just dry skin, I think, if you're really oily, might not be what you want, but it's like a gel-based moisturizer. It feels a little bit like the Chantecaille products. It is 100% fragrance-free. It's a gel cream with nutrient-rich aloe. I talked about before in one of my videos about how I wish they put aloe back into the Dior products. Well, Clinique has it in this. No smell. It's very lightweight. And when I was talking about how to get that Chanel skin look, this is a product that you could actually use for that. Because it's a gel cream and it's so lightweight, it sinks in almost automatically and it gives you a beautiful finish without that heaviness that I think many of us don't like, and also can make it more difficult to put on makeup. So this is an excellent product if you're looking for a moisturizer before you put on your foundation, or just during the day or at night. It's an excellent choice. There are many products from Chanel and Dior and others, Clé de Peau and Chantecaille, that have a similar feel. But Clinique, which has been around for a long time, has a much more accessible price point. It's not inexpensive, but it's a good price point, I think, for what it offers you. And in my opinion, works just as well as those higher price items for a gel-like moisturizer. Again, this has aloe in it and it has hyaluronic acid. So it sinks right in and gives you that plump kind of feel to your skin. Excellent product. Second, I took a little bit of the Burberry primer, which I really like. I think this primer is an excellent choice for you if you're looking for something that is luminescent, a little bit golden, and very, again, lightweight. The finish that it gives, it's a beautiful finish. I put it just here. I did not, and right in here. I just wanted to put it underneath as a highlight, if you will, for my skin, because my skin's looking a little dry right now because I had a little reaction to some products. And so I need a little bit of that on my face. In fact, I like that pretty much anytime, but that gives you a little bit of brightness without having too much highlighter on top of the skin. And this product, although again, not inexpensive, is not as expensive as say the Chanel products or the Clé de Peau, or even I think the Chantecaille. I'll have to compare. But I think that the Burberry products are extremely good. I've mentioned before, I don't really feel like they fit a category necessarily, so they don't get as much attention. But this primer is a lovely, lovely primer for those of you who are looking for a subtle luminescence that doesn't accentuate pores. I think it looks really, really good. Next is a new product that I got from Laura Mercier. They sent me this. This is their Tinted Blur Balm. I believe it's a brand new product. I have it in shade 00, 01, and 02. Today I used 01. This is a balm. It's a blurring balm. Here's the brush they sent me. And this is a beautiful product. It literally is a blurring balm for your face. And I think you can see me putting it on. It worked extremely well. It's so lightweight, it feels like nothing. It feels very much like the, my brain just stopped for a second. It feels very much like the Sarah Creel emollient products, like the bronzers that Sarah Creel has or the highlighters. That's what it feels like. But it's a blurring balm. It's a skin tint. 01 is probably my shade. I will try the 02 and the 00 to see what you guys think. But I think that's usually where I fall. Like, I'm not the lightest. I'm kind of like the second to lightest, maybe, you know, a little bit warmer, fair to light. But yeah, it's a beautiful formula and very impressed with it. Now, I've just started using it, so, you know, I can't give you too many details yet. But what I would say is this formula feels like nothing on the back of my hand. Now, I can't say that it's going to be as good as the Victoria Beckham Say drops, because that has skincare in it that I am very impressed by. But the finish of it is actually quite similar. Like, I get this very blurred, smooth, it feels like nothing. It feels like there's nothing on my skin. It feels absolutely lightweight and extremely comfortable. It says it's the first of its kind balm powder skin tint that blurs, smooths, and refines. Agreed. Skin improving peptides wrapped in a breathable, soft, focused matte finish. It really feels nice. There's 8 flexible shades. Let's see if there's anything else. Natural matte, soft focus finish, 12-hour long wear. So it's got peptides, has vegan squalene in it, vitamin E, sheer flexible pigments. You know, I'm not usually like big on mattes, but this, they do call it a soft matte. But it does look really good, guys. I mean, like, you can see it. I am from Boston. I grew up here right outside of Boston, 12 miles northwest of Boston. And there aren't too many style, beauty, fashion influencers in Boston. Boston is not really a fashion capital. It's not a beauty capital. If you go around Boston, if you come to visit or if you live here, you know, sweatshirts and sweatpants and Ugg boots and hats and Red Sox gear are kind of the de facto uniform. We're not a super stylish place. Mostly, I think, because the culture here is just sort of conservative, and I don't mean like politically, I mean just conservative as the general word means. And I think the weather is so bad. I mean, I love it here. This is my home. I came back, but the winters are dirty and snowy and cold. The springs are wet and the snow is melting. The summers are way too hot and sticky. The only nice time of year is the fall. So I think, you know, getting super dressed up or having like really nice high heels or suede, or you're going to get your clothes ruined. I mean, seriously, especially your shoes. So it's not a place that lends itself to that. But there is a very famous TikToker who lives in Boston, is from Boston, and her name is Mikayla. Now, I'm sure many of you know who she is. If you're younger, you definitely know who she is. And her team and Snif is a relatively new perfume brand, reached out to me and said, would you like to try her new perfume? They've collaborated together to do this perfume. And I was kind of like, yeah, that's not really my space. I tend to work on like very high-end, very niche perfumes. And it's not about price point. It's usually about, like, I can't handle very synthetic scents or which tend to be less expensive. if you don't know. A synthetic scent tends to be a lot less expensive than a naturally sourced ingredient or scent profile because it's more difficult to get. It's usually more expensive, you know, and you have to have a master perfumer create the scent, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not a snooty thing. It's that it's like food or wine or anything that you get as you practice with it, as you use it more, you get sort of attuned to certain things. And so other things you'll just be like, yeah, I don't enjoy that. For me, wine tastes like, well, I don't really drink, but I cannot tell the difference between a $500 bottle of wine and a $10 bottle of wine. It would be completely wasted on me. I'd have no idea. I'd be like, this is fine. Perfume, I can tell the difference. But they sent me the perfume and I was like, look, it's Mikayla. She's from Boston. Us Boston girls have to stick together. The other word that people use for us is massholes. It's not a bad word because it's massholes, so it's fine, I think, for YouTube. But anyway, so they sent me the perfume and I'll be honest, I was kind of like, well, you know, I'll try it and I'll just say, you know, it's nice, or if I really hate it, I just won't say anything. It's actually really good. This is called Only Sunshine by Snif and Mikayla, and I've been wearing it. It's a very fruity, light, springy, summery scent. It actually is more complex than I would have thought. Snif and Mikayla did a very good job with it. I'm surprised. Snif is out of New York, so it's a US brand. And if you like the Snif scents, if you have other Snif scents, it's more tropical than, they have something called Citrus Circus. That's more like a creamsicle, which I really like, by the way. Like, I love creamsicles. I can't have them, but I love them. And it has a little bit of lime. It's a really interesting fragrance. I really like that one. Anyway, this one's more tropical, like fruity than that one. And then they have Cocoa Shimmy, which is like sunscreen, like coconut, you know what I mean? Like that sunscreen kind of smell, which I really do like as well. Those are both really good. But this one's more like juicy fruit kind, not the gum, but the juicy type of fruit smell. I've actually been very impressed with Snif. If you haven't tried them out, they are a more accessible brand. This is what I'm trying to get at and weave this into this conversation. They actually have very nice packaging. Like this is, I think it's plastic, but it's like a really nice plastic. And the bottle gives you the ombre effect of what it's trying to sell, what's in the bottle. I think it's presented really nicely. I do think they do a good job of taking good ingredients and making them something that a lot of people will like. It's not going to be, let's be honest, it's not going to be Privé collection from Dior. It's not going to be a super niche fragrance that no one's ever heard of. But most of us, I think, are looking for something that's, you know, just makes us happy or makes us calm or makes us have good memories of something. This reminds me of when I went to Fiji. It has that kind of vibe to it. It's really actually a very nice, the name Only Sunshine, I could see this being a lifting, lovely fragrance for somebody for the summer. So my hat's off to Mikayla and Snif. Congratulations, Mikayla, on the collab. And yeah, I actually really like it. So if you haven't watched me before, hi, by the way. If you haven't watched me before, my name is Jennifer. And here on my channel, we do all things luxury. I post 2 to 3 times a week, and I would love it if you'd go down and hit subscribe so that I can continue to grow the channel, keep doing this work that I absolutely love. Please do not make me go back to lobbying. I am very honest on my channel. If I really hate something that somebody has sent me, generally what I will do, and I've told this to you guys before if you've watched, I just don't talk about it. I don't put it on the channel, I don't talk about it. If I feel like it's something that you guys are asking about, as in like it's a Dior or Chanel new release, yes, I will just come on here and be like, this is bad. I've done it many times. So hopefully, you know, if you've watched me for a while, or if you begin to watch me, you'll know I'll only tell you the truth. To me, my integrity and my voice here on social media is worth far more than any brand could ever pay me. And if I don't like something, I'm just gonna tell you because I don't want you to spend your money on something that's not good. This is not, however, it's not a winter fragrance, and it's not a heavy like tobacco or smoky or anything like that. It's all the things I just said. It's very bright, shiny, tropical, fruity. So if you don't like that, you won't like this, but I think it's actually really nice. And it's a lovely scent. It dries down to a very nice, happy, sunshiny scent. So again, they did a good job. And that's the thing. I think brands like Snif or brands like Noise, which I have here. They also sent me, it's the Milk de Parfum. This is Unmute. This is a very different fragrance. This is a very gourmand, milky, like this stuff is slightly addictive. This is problematic for me. It's a more not smoky. It's like a sexy, milky fragrance. I know that sounds odd, but try it and you'll see what I'm talking about. They have a very unique scent profile that is definitely more accessible. And this product, the Milk product, is literally a milky essence, but with perfume. You put it all over your body. You would not put, I mean, you don't need to put perfume like a spray on over it. It's gorgeous and it's moisturizing. It's phenomenally good. Cyclar or Cyclar is the other brand that I've talked about numerous times, and I have their rollers, their roller oils, and I also have their shower scents and their hand creams. They are phenomenally good, and their sandalwood and their vanilla fragrances are my favorite. I have literally gone through half a bottle of their vanilla body oil. Not joking, half a bottle. It's that good. So these brands that are niche brands that honestly I had not heard of 5 years ago. I didn't know who Noise were, or Snif, or Cyclar, or what's the other brand that I really like and I've just forgotten the name of? Free Yourself. Oh, Deadcool. Free Yourself, Deadcool. I hadn't heard of any of those brands 5 years ago. And they all have fragrances that I would consider in my top 10. So these are the types of brands that are starting to take over from brands, let's say, like maybe Tom Ford, that charges $300 for a privé bottle that ends up being something that is migraine inducing. I'm talking about the Fig Erotique if you didn't watch that review. So, and I'm not saying that suddenly those fragrances, privé fragrances from Dior or Chanel or Tom Ford are bad. They have some of my favorite fragrances of all time. I'm just saying, when we're in a situation where you're starting to try to figure out like where you're going to spend your money, and one thing is $300 and one thing is $100, and the thing that's $100, everybody is saying, oh, it's great. Like it's a great fragrance. Is it as complicated as blah, blah, blah? No, but it's, a happy, fun fragrance, or it's a sexy, milky fragrance, and it's a new type of, The other brands, the very high-end luxury brands, have become a little complacent in their fabulousness. And they've, in my opinion, let a lot of their customers down, raising prices, not increasing quality. In fact, some of the quality has gone down, and, creating things that nobody's asked for. Like, again, I'm going to pick on Tom Ford, but Fig Erotique. Like, nobody asked for that fragrance. Nobody wants a salty green fig. No, maybe one person wants it, but practically nobody else does. Yes, this is a little bit of a salty Saturday. Like, you start to get into these conversations where you're like, why would I continue to put money towards something that, one, I can't even try before I buy it, because a lot of these fragrances are very difficult to find. You can find Snif or Deadcool or Noise. You can find them at Sephora's and at Ulta's and at your local Nordstrom or whatever it is. A lot of times, where you live determines whether you can even try some of these things. And many of these brands are willing to send you samples because they're like, hey, we know you don't know who we are. So, and yes, the investment, the price point is just a heck of a lot less. So companies like Tom Ford and Chanel and Dior and Celine and Fendi, they need to be more creative. Now, I will say Fendi has actually done that. Like in their ready-to-wear and their bags and the shoe, I've actually been very impressed with what they've been doing lately. But Fendi's not in makeup, at least not at the moment. They used to have perfumes, and I have some old Fendi perfumes that I loved. But, my point is that we are, as consumers, I think, sick and tired of being told, this is the great thing, buy this thing, and yeah, it's $300, but it's got this brand on it, so you should love it. Like, no, there's all these other brands that have come out that have fabulous products, and we don't need to spend money on stuff just because it has a label. We're smarter than that. All right, so next let's continue with some makeup. On my face, I have on the Jones Road. These are the tiny, tiny little Miracle Balms, which are now part of her regular collection, which I think is great because I think the big ones were just too big, and I've been saying that for years. I have it in 2 shades. This is Cheeky. Yeah, this one is here. This is a little bit deeper. And then the other one is, I think, Chic. Yes, Chic is my favorite. I have Chic on today. And they gave me this cute, look at this. So it's a little, it goes on your finger. It's a little brush. I'm sorry, but I just think it's adorable. And so you put it in to the Miracle Balm. If you've never used a Miracle Balm, you basically want to like break the seal on it first, and then you get the pigment from it. And I don't have the shade on right now. This shade is a little bit deeper, but you can see how deep that one is. Don't worry, you can shear it out. But this is an amazing product for somebody who has drier skin. It used to be super emollient, and I would have told you, hey, if you have oily skin, don't use this. But they changed it. It's not as emollient as it used to be. Now it's just emollient, which is fine. But this one, the Cheeky one, is like a really good color if you want something a little bit more. It has more pigment to it than the Chic that I had on before. And they're really moisturizing. They feel really good. They're easy to use. They make you look like healthy young, like this gorgeous dewy look. And this little thing is the cutest little thing I've ever seen. I just like, this kills me. I just kind of want to wear it around. So I have that on my cheeks. And then over it, I have the Kosas bronze blush. You probably have seen the Kosas blushes before. These are the sort of baked dimensional blushes, brightening blush, and it has rosy bronze. It's Dreamland. And I have to tell you guys, like, I love these. I think these are just so good. They go on so well. They're easy to use. They have a beautiful finish, much more reasonable price point. They snap closed so you know they're closed. This is a great shade. I mean, again, the Saint Laurent blushes are some of my favorites, and the RMS blushes are a really good alternative if you're looking for something that's a little bit less expensive than, let's say, a Chanel. There's so many good smaller brands. Not that RMS is small anymore. It used to be. But you don't have to just buy the name brand that, you know, the Chanel, the Dior. Again, don't get me wrong. We're going to talk about Chanel in a minute. I love what Chanel has done lately, but we're not all made of money. We can't always have everything that we want. It's a good lesson to learn in life. And you don't have to do without just because you're not spending as much as somebody else. There are so many great products out there that are going to give you an amazing look. And the first key is like looking for good quality ingredients. Second is trying to figure out what works for you. And 3 is application techniques, which I talked about in my video. Like, there's ways to use these things that will help you. And something like this Clinique Balm, by the way, the moisturizer, does help because it's got a really nice finish to it and plumps up your skin. So those are the blushes that I have on. The highlighter that I have on is Chanel. This is the Chanel Denim highlighter. It's a really good highlighter. Chanel does this in a way that I will say most brands will not match if you have more mature skin. If you are a younger person, and I'm not trying to belittle any of the skin conditions somebody can have when they're 20. Don't get me wrong. I was 20 once. I know that your skin is not perfect when you're 20. I know that. So I'm not trying to say if you're 20, you have no issues. I'm saying when you're 20, you don't have more mature skin. You just don't. It's a good thing. Trust me, guys. When you're older and you're over 50, your skin changes, your body changes. So you will see that the way that your face looks and the skin looks changes and often actually drops. You lose collagen, all of those things. So when you put a highlighter on, it's extremely important that you have a finely milled highlighter that's not too sparkly, because it will attract attention to any texture of any kind. Now, you may be one of the few people on the planet that is so incredibly confident that it doesn't bother you at all. which if you are, my hat is off to you. I try to be like that as much as I can in my life. I try to, you know, be proud of who I am and how I act and who I am as just a person. But even, you know, we all have days where we look in the mirror and we're like, okay, what happened to my face? So I am not against wearing the sparkly, shiny, do what makes you happy. But I will say that for me, I prefer something that is not going to draw attention to the fact that my skin doesn't look as good as it did 20 years ago, in my opinion. So I think Chanel is one of the few brands that does that extremely well with their highlighters, specifically their highlighters. I almost bought a backup of this because it is very limited edition, but I don't need it. I won't go through it. I have so many Chanel highlighters that I've collected over the years. I have ones that are 20 years old that I'm still using. They are a formula that rarely goes bad and keep them all sealed. So, you know, I don't need it. But I will say it's very difficult for me to get this look exactly with another highlighter. You can do it. You can apply things in such a way with like oils underneath. I've talked about this in my application video. You can do it, but this is a very simple way to do it and a very quick way to do it. Just buy this. Again, though, this is a very expensive product. I have it on my cheeks. I also have it on my eyes. It looks phenomenal on the eyes. Really does. I wish I could say it didn't, but it does. This is my point. We're not replacing the Chanels and the Diors, and we're just incorporating other things. Important to make that note. On my eyes, I also have the Burberry eyeshadow, and I think it's very nice. I think it's a pretty color story. I think it's a nice formula. I'm not bowled over by it though, guys. I think it's good, but there's so many other eyeshadows that I would suggest to you. However, it creates a really nice look. I think the formula in here is a good one. And it is, which one is this one? I think this is Dusk. This is Dusk. It's really nice. It's a cool color story. I think it's got, you know, good pigment. I don't think it's super pigmented. I think it's for people who like sort of that more everyday kind of look, but it's not too powdery. The shimmer in here is very shimmery. The cream is well done. Good product. I do have on the blue eyeliner from Chanel. This is Blue Twill. This eyeliner, in my opinion, is one of the best ones on the market. There are other good eyeliners out there that are much less expensive, but here's the thing. I have allergies. I have problems with my eyes. I basically get like an eczema kind of thing on my eyes and weird reactions to stuff. I have now found that these never cause me any problems, so these are what I buy. I am not telling you that there isn't a liner out there that will do just as good a job that's not $10. There may be, but I haven't found it yet. And I have to be very careful about trying things that might have products in it that are going to irritate my eyes. When we're talking about eyes, I tend to go with what works for me. I have tried other liners and I've talked about them. I think Chantecailles are excellent. I think Victoria Beckham's are excellent, but these are all expensive, all of them. I have ones that are more accessible, and I've talked about those that I think are good. Clinique, by the way, bringing it up again, have excellent eyeliners, and they don't irritate my eyes at all, and I love those. I don't think they last as long as these do, but they're really good. So, you know, it would be for me if I was like, oh, Chanel doesn't make those anymore, I'd probably go to the Clinique ones because I think they're great. They don't irritate my eyes. They don't have fragrance in them. They have good colors and they stay. You can always pivot, guys. You can always find other things that are going to work for you. I promise. On my lips, I have on the Fenty liner. I've talked about Fenty numerous times. Again, definitely more accessible. This is the new shade in Rose Amber. This, to me, looks a lot like the Sisley Chocolate. I had somebody I was talking with who says, for her, this comes really, really like orange on her. It's, as you saw, as I put something on Instagram about this next to the Sisley Chocolate, to me, it's a super cool brown. It looks nothing, it has no orange in it whatsoever and looks almost identical to Sisley Chocolate. I do have cool undertones, so maybe that's what it is, but on me, the Sisley Chocolate looks about the same as the Rose Amber. It doesn't really look any different. The formula is different. This one glides more. The Sisley's like thicker, creamier. But I really like the Fenty's. I think they're good. They don't last as long as the Tom Fords. They don't, but they're good liners and they work. The lipstick I have on, however, is one of the Chanel new lipsticks. This is in Flying Cloud, and this is a very light lipstick by itself, but with the chocolate liner, it creates a perfect lip, a cool toned lip. In my opinion, these new Cocoa lipsticks are excellent. They remind me of what the old Cocoa lipsticks were like. Creamy, opaque, beautiful, no need for reapplying endlessly. They look good. Like, they look really good. They are emollient enough to make your lips look plump, but not so emollient that they start sliding into your lines. If you're somebody who has problems with that, like you have a lot of lines around your lips, go with the Tom Ford liner. Buy that liner, then use something like this. Find out where your problem areas are. What are the things that bother you the most, and spend your money there. If it's skin, then spend your money on good skincare. Go to a dermatologist, get lasers, get a foundation or a balm that works for you. Like, that's the thing. Concentrate on your strengths. Figure out the things that, you love about yourself and accentuate those. Maybe spend less money on it. Like, I have really long lashes. If my eyes weren't so sensitive, and when I was younger, I did this, I bought the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara. It's $15, and that's all I ever used. And it was great. It was fine. Now that I'm older, my eyes hurt more. They're more sensitive. So there's something in the voluminous that can be irritating after a while. To me, it's fine, I'm sure, for everybody. I wore it for 20 years, but now it does start to bother me. At the end of a long day, I want to like pick at my eyes. So I tend to wear the Swede. This one is the Dior Over Volume, which I think is a fantastic mascara. It's in plum. I'm loving the plum. I think it looks really good on. And I love this formula, and the Dior mascara doesn't bother me. But again, if when I was younger, I did not spend money on mascara because I had long, thick lashes and there was no point. Like, I spent money on other things. That's my advice. Like, figure out where you can save money and figure out, what you want to focus on. Because honestly, at the end of the day, nobody is looking at your face going, oh, that's a Chanel lip. They don't know. You know, because you've put it on, and that may give you more or less confidence depending on the type of person you are. But the people looking at you, they have no idea. All they know is you look fabulous, and that's all that matters. So don't worry too much about the brand name on your makeup. And again, I'm not up here saying that Chanel and Dior and Tom Ford aren't great. I love bougie makeup. I've built a channel focusing on a lot of luxury. What I want to say though is luxury doesn't have to be the most expensive thing. And in fact, luxury is about giving you confidence and time. It's an experience. It's a feeling. If you are looking at it based on a brand or a price point, I think you might have misinterpreted what luxury should really mean. And I think it's why one of the reasons that people have become disenchanted with luxury, because I don't think the luxury brands, as they're being called, are really giving you a luxury experience anymore. Some of them are trying to reinvent that. And in that vein, let's talk about bags and ready-to-wear that's about to launch. I had a company called Maison de Sabre send a note to me. And I've talked about them before because Maison de Sabre is a French brand that has created the Little Mist and Little Mister bag charms that I have, and I'll put up pictures of the ones that I have. And I love the Little Mist and Little Mister books from forever ago. I have the little one with the red hair. Anyway, they reached out and said, can we send you a bag? And I was like, you have to be kidding. Like, this is my job. This is the best thing ever. And so I picked this one because, I love blue. And this bag is going to be perfect for the spring. Look at how cute this bag is. First of all, you can wear it crossbody. It's a blue, like textured, pebbled leather. So I love this type of leather because I am not precious with my bags. I do have an Hermes Kelly bag, and it is box leather, and it is banged up, and I love that. Like, I think the whole point of having the bag is that you use the bag. But anyway, again, this type of leather is great. That's what a lot of my Chanel bags are. Basically caviar leather. It's like a tough leather. The inside is lined with like nylon. It's got leather accents in there. There's a zipper in the back. There's a pocket, leather pocket. Hopefully you can see that. There you go. On the other side. And it's a good size bag. You can fit your phone in it. I have the big phone. So, you can fit that in there. And you can put all your stuff in. Your wallet, your keys, whatever you carry with you. You also have a handle on it so you can wear it like this. This bag is, and I'll put the price down below, so much less expensive than any bag that you're gonna see from Chanel that is coming out this season with bags that are similar to this in the way that they look. I'm not joking. I have seen them in person. They are lovely. They look phenomenal. They look like this bag. They have like a pebbled leather. They are almost like a messenger bag. I'll put up pictures. They're like a messenger's bags. They look almost identical to this leather. I'm not joking. Like if you put them side by side, you can tell a difference, but not a factor. Like these bags are like hundreds of dollars. The one that I like is basically 10 grand, and I'll make sure the prices go up. There's no way in anyone's mind that it's worth that much more than that. The only reason it has that price is because it's Chanel, and specifically it's Blazy's Chanel. Do I love the design? Do I love the bags? Yes, I do. This bag, which by the way, is not crocodile. It's not an exotic. It's embossed, which personally I actually do like more. I love the look of an exotic bag, but I don't like the idea of an exotic bag. You get my point. So I love the fact that it's embossed, but it's $7,300. $7,300. Now, for Chanel, it's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I actually thought it was going to be worse. But again, remember, $7,300, what that could buy you. Just saying. Coach has bags that are actual crocodile, if that's something that you would want, that are about the same price. This is an embossed bag. I'm looking at these two things. I'm a smart person. They look the same to me. Why is this thing $7,300 or $10,000 and this is $400? It's not making me happier. It's not giving me a luxurious experience. In fact, I could take that $7,000 or $10,000 and go to Fiji, first class. Now that's an experience. That's a luxury experience. Or I could, I don't know, take my family to, an amazing event or dinner with your friends or something like extravagant, but that's an experience that you'll keep with you for the rest of your life. I get the urge to have the newest, most like fabulous thing, especially the thing that nobody else has. That is me. That has been me my whole life. But the older I get, the more I realize that the things that mean the most to me have been experiences and people. That is not to say that I still do not want this bag. I still do. But I personally have decided that the price of it, that I can use that money for other things that will mean more to me. If that means the most to you, getting that bag, then do that. Absolutely. But you have other options where I feel like the quality is going to be excellent. Maison de Sabre also sent me a bunch of little bag charms. So I have a little blueberry one. I have a little strawberry one. No, watermelon one, sorry. And then the little Hello Kitty one. Look at how cute. I feel like I need to put the blueberry one on my new Coach bag. This is the bag that went down the runway recently for spring summer from Coach. And Sophia was in Dallas and was able to get this bag for me. And I don't think it's actually released yet. This is gonna be super popular. She has the red one. This color is so me. But I was thinking, I have to put the little blueberry on it, don't you think? Look how cute. Now, come on. Guys, look at how cute this is, right? You don't need to spend Chanel money to have a really well-made, really well-done, excellent product. Now, again, I'm not here to diss Chanel or Fendi. Fendi has some of the most beautiful bags I've seen lately, and I intend, before this year is out, on buying one very expensive bag that just calls to me. That's like the bag that, really is the bag for me. But it's not because of the price. It's gonna be something that just really calls to me, and it's just so unique and gorgeous that it's mine. Like I know it's mine. This bag, when Sophia showed it to me, I was like, I have to have it. Like I just absolutely loved it. And the price point of this bag, or the Maison de Sabre bag, allows me to have, more of that in my life. Things that make me happy just to look at them and to enjoy them and, wear them with different outfits. When you're looking at a price point like Chanel or Dior or even Fendi now, $10,000 is so much money that, most people are gonna have to save up a lifetime to be able to afford them. Chanel has started, I think, and Dior's done it too, to recognize that, and they have started to include some things in their spring summer collections for aspirational shoppers. Smaller goods, small leather goods, bag charms, those types of things. But I just want to call the attention to all the brands that I talked about today, the products in beauty and in perfume and in these bags, and ready to wear is the same. There are excellent quality out there. There's products and brands that I think are really worth taking a look at. And I think they offer a luxurious experience and definitely a luxurious product at a much cheaper price point. So I'd love to hear what brands you're looking at maybe this year for the first time, and why you might be moving away from some of the more luxurious brands that we've been told are the best of the best. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it, and hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.